Through one. Alrighty, and we're live. Everybody, welcome to another round of hashtag Let's Talk About Something Else on the Apex Communications Network. We're going to go ahead and get our watch parties started. But as always, please welcome Tracey and Kathy to the party.
Hello.
Hi.
So this is going to be a good week. Not just because of the questions, and we're going to get a little bit sappy talking about our mamas, but I'm going to be giving away 4 separate Amazon gift cards at the end of this live stream. So nurses, if you are paying attention to the post that I put up asking you to thank each other for Nurses Week, if you pop in and say hello and shout out another nurse or tell another story, you can double your chances to win that gift card. Plus, I had an anonymous donor last minute give me another $20 to give away 2 more $10 gift cards. So we have a total of 4 that we're going to give away tonight. And if you want to double your chances as a nurse, I already have the list of people that are going to be submitted. So if I see your name pop up and you let me know you're here, you can double your chances to win one of those gift cards.
Yeah, and people, don't be afraid to put in the live comments your stories about nurses. We'd love to talk about them too.
Yeah. Especially if it pertains to like your mom or you being a mother and stories about that when it comes to nursing, because that's kind of the theme for the night. So
yeah,
I'm going to finish getting this watch party started, and then I have another quick shout out we have to do, and then we'll get this ball rolling. Let's see here.
I've got quite a few people on here for a moment. One of them is my best friend from 7th grade. And so, hi, Karen. Good to see you. Tracey, you joined my watch party, Tracey. Lynn, Marianne, Shelly, Nancy, Deanna, and Rose. Nice to see you tonight.
Hello.
Karen's always very popular when we have group gatherings because she knew me when. And she's been through the stuff that challenged my mom so much.
Oh, boy.
With me. She was kind of my savior back then. So shout out to Karen for not letting my mom kill me.
All right. My watch party is up and running. Boom.
Nice.
I opted for a seltzer, by the way.
I see Shelly. Hi, Shelly.
Oh, man.
So it's a non-alcoholic night, huh? Yeah.
Holy cow. Oh, no. Definitely still alcoholic. It's just a Bud Light seltzer rather than the beer.
What brand was that?
A Budweiser seltzer? Bud Light?
Bud Light. I
Light.
took so much grief for the other night.
Well, this is sophisticated because it's a lime and it's a seltzer. I have to drink it with my pinky up. Otherwise, it feels wrong.
Yeah, I got another one for you. Another fan.
You're gonna make me ruin my equipment one of these days. There's been way too many times that I've been like mid sip, and I feel like you're starting to time it up, like you're doing it on purpose at this point. She waits until I'm taking a sip of my drink and then sends something off the chain, and there I
want to see it come out your nose, Jan.
Yeah, seltzer would feel horrible coming out of my nose.
You know what's worse? Sushi.
What did you say?
I think she said sushi.
That's what I thought. I just got the first half of the word and then wheezing. That's all I had. Kathy, breathe, honey. Take a breath.
Oh my gosh.
Here, you can smell some flowers.
I feel like sushi.
My
would just
son was hanging
stuck.
out with his mother, and his timing is just as impeccable. And I had just put a piece of sushi in my mouth, and God. He did that to me. And yeah, honking sushi is not fun.
Yeah. What's up, Alyssa Johnson, Samantha, Teresa? Alyssa, by the way, I know you're one of the people that was mentioned in that post. If you tell another nursing story, you can double your chances to win one of those Amazon gift cards. Make sure you let everybody else know too. Ashley, Gina, I'm talking to you guys as well. All right, so we'll do this quick shout out real quick. I ended up winning a contest. I guess not even really a contest. I got nominated by somebody. So whoever you are, thank you for nominating me on Twitter via the Canton Charge. But I ended up being selected as one of the nurses that they were thanking for Nurses Week, and they hooked me up with a Mark Price bobblehead.
Ooh.
or figurine, as the
Figurine.
technical term would be. A $25 gift card to Giant Eagle,
Mm-hmm.
a Dunkin' mug, which will be perfect because I drink a metric crap ton of coffee. Just soon as metric, not standard, a metric crap ton of coffee.
I gotcha.
And so after this is done, the first thing I'm going to do with this Dunkin' cup is, sorry, Dunkin', I'm actually going to fill it with cherry blend coffee roaster coffee. So that's my plan as soon as all of this is over. And I can't get that to go back on, so I'm not going to mess with it right now.
Yeah.
But I definitely wanted to give a huge shout out to the Canton Charge. I thought it was awesome. What's up, Jason Storch? That they took the time to thank nurses, especially
Canton
That's
going
awesome.
right now.
Very awesome.
They're such a great community partner. They really are. When I worked for the Y, they were constantly, giving us calls to see how they could, work with us and enhance our members' experience and really reaching out to the little kids in our basketball leagues and stuff. We had so much fun with the Canton Charge guys. We had this group of guys that just thought they were all that played noon ball. And I remember asking a couple of the Charge players, I'm like, could you just come in and pretend like you're just joining the pickup game and teach these boys a little bit of a lesson?
They're very generous.
I
That's
play.
awesome.
I used to know how to play basketball.
Oh, geez. That's you're up for a rude awakening if you end up picking up in that pickup game. All right, Megan Storch, I see that you're in here. Tell other people from Altman that if they want to double their chances to win that Amazon gift card, to hop in here and tell stories about nurses that have impacted their lives. All right, I'm going to continue inviting people, but I'm relying on you.
On too. My cousin Gail is on.
Awesome.
Awesome. Both of them.
All righty, let's see here. So for everybody that's curious, right, this is hashtag Let's Talk About Something Else. We're going to get into the meat potatoes now. And this week, our theme is mothers. We're going to talk about, since Mother's Day was past Sunday, right?
It was.
It was.
And I'm sure you went and saw your mama.
I did. I spent all day down on the farm.
Good boy.
And we watched a bunch of videos that I had taken of her parents over in Slovakia. Went through old photo albums, reminisced about a bunch of stuff, and spent the majority of the day speaking Slovak.
Nice.
Like she was at home.
Get to go over and visit her parents very often?
Like once every 2 years or so.
Okay.
Something like that.
Always FaceTime, which
Definitely. Like Skype and FaceTime are huge.
Yeah.
We do that like every Sunday. We try to sit down and talk to my grandparents. But yeah, I was the only one that didn't get the chance to see them for like 7 years. Like that was just military, unfortunately.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
But they were able to go back multiple times in that time. So we're going to talk about special mother stories. And there's 3 different questions that we have this week, right? And our first one, and we'll go ahead and kick it off, is what traits do you have that you attribute to your mom? I'll leave it up to you guys. Who wants to go first?
Kathy.
Well, I'm finding out there's a lot of them, which, is up and down. When I was younger, everyone told me I looked so much like her, and I didn't see it. But, sometimes I look in pictures and it's like, oh, there she is, or there I am. But what I'd like to think is my mother's taught me a lot about honoring people wherever they are in their station in life. My mother is a psychologist, and she's empathetic, and she's worked with people who are coming from all different places emotionally and psychologically. I poo-pooed her profession for many, many years, and she just thinks it's hilarious that I've ended up in a similar type of profession.
Yeah.
So, even though it isn't psychotherapy or anything, but so those traits from my mother. And another thing is my mother is one fantastic cook, and that's one takeaway I have. And so many times
I can vouch for that 110%.
But yeah, and so many times when I'm talking to my children, I do hear the best of my mother's voice coming out. So I guess there's a lot.
Megan says that Jason gets his OCD from his mother. They're husband and wife, just so you guys know. But I actually, so Megan and Jason, I met Megan working on CVS ICU, and then we were at the holiday party for cardiac ICU down at, I think we were at Lockport Brewery. It was either there or Canton Brewing Company. I'm pretty sure it was Lockport though. We were down there, and Jason was at the bar, and I was just standing next to Jason, and I had to say like my name to the bartender because she was taking my card, and I was like, "It's Jan Almasy is the last name." And he looked over and he's like, "Almasy?" He was like, "Are you an Almasy?" And I was like, "Yeah." And he's like, "My best friend married an Almasy." And we went down this whole rabbit hole of realizing that he had been at my cousin's wedding because my cousin married his best friend.
Oh, how funny.
And then between that and me knowing Megan, I started realizing that Jason is just as hyperactive of an idea maker as I am. And now he does consulting with us. So Megan always gives us crap because it's like, now I'm better friends with her husband than I am with her, even though she met me first. But I'm like, it is what it is. I don't know if I've ever actually said that out loud, but now the cat's out of the bag, Megan. I'm definitely better friends with Jason at this point. I'm sorry.
It is what it is.
Yeah. So, all right, Tracy, you want to go next? Or you want me to go next?
Oh, I'll go next.
All right, let it fly.
I think what my mom has taught me is one, don't cook with lousy ingredients. And if you're going to cook, do it right. Because my mom's an awesome cook. Actually, my mom's awesome at anything she puts her mind to. But the other thing I think she's taught me is just like, you can persevere through anything. No door closes. There's always an option, always an opportunity.
Yeah. That's very true. Jason commented a flexing arm, and Megan was like, "I already knew it. You didn't have to tell me." Oh boy. So for my mother, for those of, I mean, anybody that spend any amount of time hanging out with me knows that I flip from idea to idea to idea to idea, and like my conversation structure is very squirrely. Especially especially if you get a couple of shots of espresso in me, and then it's like all downhill.
Yeah.
But one thing that my mom is like, I was actually just talking about this with my brother yesterday. She has always been very in tune with her, she calls it her little voice, right? Her gut, and what we later, learn to figure out is her intuition. She is probably one of the most empathetic people I've ever met. Like the kind of person that can walk into a room and know exactly what everybody's thinking without anybody saying anything. And I have inherited definitely a small portion of that. I'm nowhere near where my mom is as far as like she physically feels emotion, like other people's emotion, it physically affects her. And I'm not to that point.
Kathy.
Yeah, I'm not to that extent. Like I don't feel other people's pain, and I'm not sure whether that's just like from being in nursing and I've been forced to learn not to, because in order to survive, you can't.
Have to.
Or if it's just that I'm like a balance between my mom and my dad is the very rational, logical, everything has to make sense and be in order. And my mom is the polar opposite. She's like, if it feels good, then that's the right decision to make. But well, maybe not necessarily, but if the intuition is there, she uses that as her compass. And that has put me in some of the best situations and some of the hardest situations I've ever been in life, is just knowing, despite what my brain is saying, my gut is telling me to go this direction. If I don't listen to it, I get so anxious that it's debilitating. And so at this point, I've just like released the steering wheel and just kind of let my gut pull me in whatever direction I'm supposed to go, because I get so, that's the only time I feel physical manifestations of anything, is if I try to go against it, because then I like break down. I'm like, okay, like my body's telling me I should be doing this, but I'm actively choosing to go a different direction. And now it's like really butting up against each other. Yeah. So I just go with that like empathetic, emotional, intuitive direction. And that's definitely 100% my mother.
It's a good thing to have, and it's a curse too.
Yeah. I remember as a little kid, like the one that really stuck out, because my brother asked me, he was like, when's the first time you remember encountering that, or mom doing that? And I remember being on the way to the library as a little kid, and we were almost to the library, and the library is like my favorite place as a child. And so I'm like getting all excited. Like, I think I had just gotten a new library card. Like, I was going to get to use it. And my mom turned around. I was like, what the hell? Like, we were almost there. Right. And so I'm like 6 years old. I'm like, why are we turning around? And she was like, something's not right. She was like, I have to go back to the house. And I was like,
Oh, wow.
what do you mean we have to go back to the house? Like, we were literally about to pull into the library. We can go back to the house after I get my books. I was pissed. Right. I just remember being angry. And we pull in, and there was smoke coming out of the kitchen window and like everything else. And she had left. She forgot to turn the oven off with food in it prior to going to the library. And she was like, I knew that I was forgetting something, but I couldn't remember what it was. And she was like, I was getting physically sick on the way to the library. She was like, I had to turn around. And that's the first time I remember her looking at me and saying that if your inner voice is trying to tell you something, listen to it, because it's telling you that for a reason. That's the first time I ever remember that happening. But do you guys, both of you guys have talked about empathy with your mothers. Do you have a singular point similar to that you can kind of remember or point to, or something that you remember experiencing that was really like, okay, yeah, I definitely am an empath. That's for sure.
Well, there's too many to mention. My life, and it's becoming stronger all the time. But in the most recent times, my level of anxiety when I'm out in public is not related to how I feel about the pandemic. And I know we're not talking about that, and we'll start talking about something else. But I can literally feel other people's anxiety when I go into buildings. And I've noticed for a while now that when I walk into a room and there's something going on, high or low, my my energy goes right there. So if I walk into a stressful situation, I feel the stress. If I walk into a happy situation, I can feel the happiness. Sometimes it's a really good thing. And the thing is often I can cut through, like if something was really bugging you and you kept saying, no, I'm fine, I'm good, my bullshit meter would be just going off like crazy.
And the weird thing is that is probably the most evident quality for me that I have as far as the empathy. And it's not just like being able to tell that something's wrong, but like an eerily correct ability to pinpoint and almost verbatim tell that person what's wrong without like any prior context.
Yeah. But there have been times where I've almost viscerally heard the voice say, don't do that, or do it. And it's been the right thing. And when I don't pay attention to that intuition, I actually hurt.
Yeah.
So, it's a blessing and a curse.
Yeah, because you can't shut it off.
No.
So.
But and I know people who are much more skilled when it comes to that type of tuning in. But I think that's something we're all capable of. And I would like to, or at least I try to teach the younger kids, my nieces and nephews at this point, to start listening to their inner voices. And I don't think we focus on that with children enough. If you're upset, calm down. And how do you calm down? Teaching them ways to...
Those coping mechanisms. Yeah.
Coping. Yeah, that's a great way to put it.
Yeah. I think that when I was working at Smith House, which is the drug abuse rehabilitation center attached to community corrections off of Faircrest, that was one thing that I was always talking about with the boys, because I would lead NA groups and AA groups and, read out of like the steps of AA and relate them back to life and everything else. That was kind of our job, was to figure out how to relate these things to them. And one thing that I'd always tell them is like, one of the big things is there are other coping mechanisms than drugs, right? You may not know that they're there, but here's how they work. And I remember like helping them realize that drawing was really helpful, or that they actually had a really like deep passion for reading that they didn't know that they had. And identifying those different things that kind of pivot over. And to your point, Tracey, if you were to do that earlier on in life, if they were to have that available to them, those coping mechanisms, who knows where they could end up.
And not denying the way you're feeling, knowing how to express it and how to move through it, and not just ignore the fact that you're in a certain space.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I tell guys my age that all the time, where I'm like, listen, dude, like I will straight up admit that when I watched The Shack, I cried like 3 different times. Right. And that's perfectly okay, because if you want to turn the waterworks on, like me sitting there trying to hold the tears back would probably make me stroke out. So like, I'm just going to let it fly, and that's cool. Right. You pick yourself back up afterwards and let it go. But like, if the more that you try to bottle it up and the more you try to shove it down and not acknowledge it, the easier it is for them to control you, your emotions.
Right.
And actually Marcus Aurelius talks about it in like the Stoic meditations and other stuff like this. You have to acknowledge the emotion, positive or negative, and confront it, because especially if it's a negative emotion.
Negative. I think emotions are nouns.
Yeah.
Just
that's a good way to look at it.
There you go.
Yeah.
Judging an emotion as bad or good, how can you say that? You know?
Yeah.
Excellent point.
And people do judge those things as well. So I consider an emotion a noun. So if you're angry, you're angry. It just is.
It's a state of being.
Yes.
There you go.
And if you're sad, you're sad. If you're happy, you're happy. And if you're elated, you're elated.
And you can't be one thing all the time.
Oh, absolutely not.
Yeah. Yeah. Life is always, I've always kind of looked at emotion as a spectrum. You're on a spectrum of emotion. You're never completely one thing or completely the other.
No. And there's no good or bad. It just is. It's when we start judging ourselves. So if something happens and I'm angry or anxious, and someone says, well, that's a negative emotion. Well, don't tell me I'm a bad person for feeling these things.
Right.
I just do. Let me work through my anger or my anxiousness, and I will get back to a place of balance.
Whew, man.
And it's always an opportunity to learn. So.
Yeah, she knows what she talks about.
Man, people coming to Let's Talk About Something Else tonight are getting some wisdom. They're getting some wisdom tonight. This shit got deep. I love it. And we did that last week too. We got deep last week.
You got the mamas on the council now.
Yeah, this is all awesome. Also, Jason agrees with me. He said the Shack is straight waterworks, bro.
Oh, dude, I need to watch it with somebody. My family will not watch it with me. I need to watch it again because
I don't even know what you guys are talking about.
Oh my God.
Tracey, when we all hang out at my parents' house and play euchre, after I beat Kathy, we can watch The Shack.
Ain't gonna happen.
I'll bring
euchre intuitively too, my friend.
Yeah. Oh man. All right. So for those of you that are just tuning in, welcome to another rendition of Let's Talk About Something Else with Jan Almasy, Kathy, and Tracey. Devin Kohler says emotion is a part of our identity. And I'd also like to welcome Eric Brickwood, Mary Frazier, Celeste, Matt McLean, Ian Sheridan, and Devin Storch, and Glenn Wersler.
All right, Glenn. Hi.
Glenn just got to move back into the office. High five to him. And I think that's all for right now. Thanks everybody for stopping by. Reminder, if you're a nurse,
does mine show on yours or no?
No, the separate watch parties are. You can here. I'll let you announce your list here in a second and give your shout outs. I just want to remind any of the nurses that are in here to make sure that you are shouting each other out for another chance to win one of 4 Amazon gift cards tonight. So Tracey, you can go ahead and give your high fives.
I have my cousin. I have Gail Kalpak. I have Kara Zwick. I have Teresa Rice. I have Eric LeBeau and Audrey Notch Harlan in Florida. Hi, everybody. Thanks for joining.
Welcome. The interstate party. Kathy.
Yes, I love my out-of-state people.
We have humans.
We do. My sister's even on here, so I got to watch what I say.
Uh-oh.
She'll tell mom.
Glenn says hi, Kathy, by the way.
Hi, Glenn. So anyway, we got 2 more questions.
We do. Do you want to do the second one? Or do you want me to announce them tonight?
Oh, you can do that because I'm switching between platforms. My sister just texted me, I'm watching you. And she put a heart. So
okay, that's good. That's a good sign. I'm gonna text my sister and be like, why aren't you watching me? Kathy's sister watching her.
I want my voice on here answering the next 2 questions.
Oh boy. Uh-oh. All right, here we go. So what is the second question? Drum roll. And what is something that you admire about your mom?
Yeah. I asked this on my on Sunday in a little bit different words, but it was amazing how many people it brought up some very mixed feelings for. But I'm going to stay on the happy because there's a lot of things I've come to admire about my own mother. I've made she is so going down.
Uh-oh. Did your sister text you?
Yeah, she's the better sister. No.
That would be me. I'm the better sister.
She's still talking.
That's funny.
Anyway, no,
Does she play euchre?
Huh?
Does she play euchre?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure she does. The things I admire about my mom, I admire about my sister. Actually, they are 2 of the smartest women I actually know in my world. Both of them have done such amazing things, and the saying, comparison is the thief of joy. If I were to start comparing myself to my mom and my sister and the things that they've done in their lives, the thief would come. Right. I have my own attributes, but my sister and my mom both. My sister is a fantastic mom. And my mom had so much that she dealt with when we were growing up, and her perseverance, and she was going to school the entire time we were growing up. She and I graduated the same year. She with her PhD in psychology, and me from high school. Oh, wow. Which everyone considered a miracle at that point.
We need to have an entire episode just dedicated to us talking about shenanigans and relating to high school.
Yeah, no.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, I'm out of that one too.
My brothers and sisters and I are talking, and we go, "Oh, you remember this?" And my mom will go, "I never mind." La 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 la. Because there were shenanigans. All I can say, including you, Kristen, if you're still on, you had shenanigans too. So I would say I admire their intelligence and their perseverance, and my goodness, and they're both fantastic cooks, but not as good as me.
You're like, I won that one.
I'm waiting for the text, Chris. Go ahead.
Tracy, why don't you take number 2 on this one?
Okay, I'll take number 2. Actually, I am a really great mix between both my parents. My mom is hilarious. People just find her sense of humor refreshing sometimes because it's a little on the extreme side. But I've just watched her do, and I always actually, when it comes to admiring her, I just would love to take her and put her in a setting and watch what she could really do today compared to the thinking and the thought process back in the 50s. Whereas your option spot, especially in the blue collar area, I mean, there were 10 kids in her family, so getting married was kind of the big push. Getting out of the house. So what my mother could have done if she had the opportunities to go to college, because she's smart as heck, and it would have been really neat. I love the fact that she loves her family so fiercely, and she has put everything on hold for them. So in her next life, I can't wait to see what she does.
Wow, that's awesome. That's a deep final statement there, Tracy. Holy cow.
What can I say?
We're just gonna have to, we'll have like a philosopher symposium by the end of this. Me, you, and Kathy will just have our own little talk about existential crises.
Deep thoughts.
There you go.
Yeah.
How about you, Jan? I know you love your mama.
Oh,
Like-
I do 100. It doesn't take very long to realize that I'm a mama's boy. Not like Bobby Boucher level, but you know,
Not Oedipal, but
yeah, just respectable level of mama's boy. So first of all, I'm gonna do 2 points. The first one is that my mom sacrificed a major portion of her life moving across the ocean to come to the United States. She married my dad and then gave up, seeing her sister's kids, her mom and dad. I mean, constantly. And it didn't start to sink in for me until probably, I want to say I was like 16 or 17 when it really started hitting me. I remember being a little kid and just heard like breaking down in the living room. Like when we would hear a song, or something specific, but it would remind her of home. I didn't understand what that type of homesickness would mean until, especially just recently, when I just went back and got the chance to talk to my grandpa and my grandma about the other side of that, all of the years that they haven't gotten to spend with their daughter. Right. So understanding both sides of that dynamic is just, it baffles me that she was willing to do that. On top of that, homeschooling us and really trying to set us up for success and everything else is just mind blowing. But more recently, outside of the fact that she did all of that, right, that should be enough. But at this point, she is done with her master's degree.
Wow.
She had a master's in Slovakia in teaching, came over here, like raised us, put Sam all the way. He's a senior in high school now, and he's doing his thing, going out. Raised me. My sister is a consultant at an international firm in New York. Like, did a pretty solid job, and decided that wasn't good enough. She wanted to continue impacting people's lives, so she went back to Walsh. Started working, cooking food and washing dishes to help pay for my sister's school and my little brother's schooling. And then in the process decided she was going to finish out her American side of the degree, because when she had her master's in Slovakia, when she came over, it didn't all transfer, because in Slovakia you get a master's, but it's really only 5 years of school. So when she came over, she still had like 7 courses or something like that she had to take to earn the master's degree in education here. So she, with her grammar level and like still like English as a second language, not being in school outside of teaching us for 24 years, went back and kicked her master's degree's ass.
Excellent. Is she a Cav? Swords up?
Yes. Yep. Swords up. Yep. She's going to be a Walsh grad, just like me and my sister, and is going to be taking her boards over summer.
Nice.
So hopefully she'll be
Yay, Mom.
certifiable master's educated teacher by the end of summer.
Well,
So,
being your mom, she probably is certifiable anyway, Jan.
yeah. She's definitely certifiable in a couple of different things, but we won't get into that.
I'm just trying to lighten things up a little.
She's very I tell people that she's deceiving, right? Because she's all sweet and hashtag Cav Nation, Megan, swords up. She's very sweet and innocent and everything else until you do something as her child to piss her off, and then it's all downhill. So I'm like, listen, I was like, you guys get to see this side. I was like, I got to see the getting hit with a frying pan side, or like whatever was close enough that could be thrown because I was pissing off my sister or trying to chuck my brother off of a chair. Like, we have a wooden...
That's normal sibling stuff.
Exactly. We have a wooden spoon in our house that's cracked in the middle that is above our mantle because she broke it over my ass when I was like 7. And she just kept it as a reminder, like, don't mess with me because I'm capable of breaking a spoon over your butt. And she would just point at it. Like we wouldn't even have to say anything. We would just be messing around and she would just go.
Motherhood is a master's degree in psychological warfare.
No, I have no doubt. I have no doubt at all. When I went through my peds rotation, I was like, I have no idea how mothers deal with this on a daily basis. and I'm going to be completely screwed as a father, because if my kid is anything like me, it's going to be a very interesting ride.
Yeah, my mother likes to say grandchildren are the best revenge.
That's why when they're so little and cute and innocent, it preps you. And so you're always taken off back because you think you're the greatest parent in the world until your child does something. And you realize you really don't have all the answers, and they forgot to send the manual with the child when they sent
nothing. No money back guarantee, no nothing. And then your kid does something. You know, I have to tell a story on one of my kids. One of my crowning mother moments is one of my sons was about 4 and decided to push the grocery cart a little bit, and he pushed it into a huge wine display at the grocery. I can't tell you, between all the poured wine on the floor, there was a lot of broken glass involved and a lot of noise. And me trying to pick up the glass and slurp the wine off the floor at the same time was really funny. And then I'm trying to talk to the manager, and I just remember him going, "Just take your child and leave."
And go.
And I was just like, "But there's still wine on the floor." But no, it was a crowning mom moment, and I just didn't know what to do, laugh, cry, or I don't know.
Yeah, I'm sure that if we were asked my mother, she would have plenty of those.
We have stories. We'll get your mama on here, and we'll just tell.
We have stories.
I don't know how I feel about that one, but
when I meet your mama,
yeah, you guys can hear them. I don't know if
she and I are just gonna, get along really nice.
Yeah, I wonder if one of hers might be watching me jump off the roof with an umbrella as a parachute. That was probably a crowning achievement.
We love that stuff.
Here's I want to show this picture of Jason because he has one of the most epic setups for watching this. First off, we'll just show like him and Megan. They're enjoying a drink and hanging out with us. Right? This is Jason's setup for watching the live stream, so he can keep his hands free.
Oh, what a riot.
Oh man, they're like one of my they're good people. Those are some good people. Johnny Cantor, welcome. Rick Catlett. Let's see here. Bobby Brass, Stephanie Hunter, Zoe Wilson, and Logan Belleville have stopped by on my end.
Nice.
I have Nicole Stopner and I have Scott Spires who have joined my watch party.
What's up? What's up?
More out of state.
All righty. Let's see here. So we'll move on to question 3, it looks like.
Yeah, my sister's still hanging with us too.
What is question 3?
Question 3 is, what's something special that your mom did just for you?
Oh my gosh, that would be lots of things.
Yeah.
I mean, especially when I moved out of state, I would get an Easter basket when I lived out in California. And I know I was over 25, but I got to tell you, back then there was no FaceTime.
Right.
You spent lots of money on the phone talking to your loved ones in the back. It just, I think that was probably one of the most special things, sending care packages out, silly stuff.
Yeah, those are like getting something in the mail. I mean, there's a completely different, like, even now with all of the technology that you have, there's something different about getting something that someone put effort into, like thought. I mean, it took them time to either write it out or put the basket together. I mean, there's so much that goes into that.
Handmade card I received a week ago from somebody special that had kitties on it. Just made my day.
Had to send it.
Yeah, the handmade stuff. I always that's one thing that my dad always used to tell me. I mean, we'll transition a little bit here and talk about pops, but that's one thing that he like drilled into my head is he was like, you can't buy a woman's love. Like he would say that all the time. And he was like, it means more for you to go down to the wood shop and make something for Mother's Day or like for their anniversary or other stuff, I always remember him like hand making things or doing things around the house or planting her a section of the garden. Or, you know, like the one year we built a whole entire fence line and put in a new barn for her goats. Like that level of appreciation and dedication is what it is. He was like, you can't just buy it. You have to showcase that you care. And that was one thing that he always nailed down. And for me, like hand making a card or something like that, it may not be as pretty or as aesthetically pleasing as something that you can buy at Giant Eagle, but it means so much more.
Mm-hmm.
So I like that, getting the stuff in the mail.
Some of us aren't that crafty though, Jan.
Oh, I could jack up a stick figure. That's why I'm saying the ones from Giant Eagle are definitely more pretty. But like I remember being a little kid and
creative with what I send.
Yeah. I just found something that Christian made me just today. It was tucked inside something else. Oh, here. This is what I got for birthday cards from my son, Chris. This is a piece of notebook paper. And he would write all these crazy things on here. And clearly, I mean, this one, I don't know what year, but I won't throw these away. I will tell you. And this is what I got every year for my birthday. The back does say suitcases are people too. I never understood that part.
Wait.
That's hilarious.
I don't know.
Wait, who wrote that?
One of my sons that you know.
Okay. All right. I was going to say, is this something that I can use as ammo or is that banned?
He might not remember he did this, but just ask him about Raymond sometime. Just say, how's Raymond doing, and watch his reaction.
Okay. I'll the next time I'm like sleuthing around for computer supplies, I'll make sure I let him know.
Ask for the Raymond model and he'll die. Who will die? And then he'll come over and punch me. No, he won't. He loves his mama.
Oh man. Yeah.
So what's something special that your mama does for you, Jan?
Let's see here.
Mm-hmm. Just for you.
So I always thought that there was like I was special, you know, like this was just for me type of thing. But then being the oldest, other siblings come around and you start to realize that you're not the sole focus of attention all the time. And you go through that whole psychological battle as the oldest child, right? Like, oh no, mom's attention has to be split between two other screaming children.
What?
Yeah. Isn't that crazy? The world doesn't revolve around me. That's insane to me, right? I still struggle with that on a
day. I know.
But so she would always like her biggest thing, and she still does this to this day for all of us, right? And it's called a križík in Slovak, right? So križík means cross. And so before anything major, like even as recently as this pandemic, right? When I left the house and I went to move into my little self-isolation quarantine bungalow, as I've been calling it, every single time she has a little vial of holy oil and she'll go find it and she gives us a križík before we leave. So like before every TDY deployment I've ever been on, she's always given me a sign of the cross on the forehead before I left the house.
Oh, that's sweet.
You know, every single time I've left the house and about to go into some type of situation that she was not comfortable with, always got a cross before I left the house. But when like I would move back into college, every single time I left, I would get a cross. And it's something that I like was annoyed with almost in high school, right? Because I was an 18-year-old that knew everything. And at this point, it's one of those things that I know for sure when it's not available to me anymore, I'm going to miss like crazy. That it's like, it's something that's so deep between all of us as siblings that we know that like mom's keeping an eye on us type of thing. And so that's something that she's always made a very large point to do every time that we've gone. And then my dad on his side, he always says, remember, you're an almasy. That's like his shtick is those. So you get both sides.
Yeah,
but that is sweet.
Yeah, she's a saint of a woman. She sets a really high standard. That's probably why I'm still single, because nobody's compared to that yet.
Tries to marry her baby.
Yeah, Yeah.
But you never know, that poor girl could turn into be exactly what she wanted 10 or 20 or 30 years down the road.
Oh yeah, for
All
sure.
us mamas want is somebody who's going to make you happy. I don't know Christian's girlfriend very well, but I know that he loves her very much, and that makes me love her.
Yeah.
So I'm really looking forward to getting to meet her. And she just on Sunday she wrote a personal greeting just to me that took me down. So I'm super excited to whenever she can come down from Canada. She's stuck up in Canada right now. So anyway, see, things my mom did special just for me. My sister's reminding me all the things that weren't just for me on the phone, by the way.
We're gonna have to. Is this one of those things where, like, if I invite her to come on the live stream, that you guys are going to be bickering the entire time, or is that something that we can open up?
We never bicker, ever.
Yeah. Right.
Right. No, my sister and I, she's a very special person. But I know that there's one thing that I did with Mom that Chris didn't. It was an opportunistic thing, but as Mom used to like to say, she was between husbands at the time. And at the time, I had just met my husband, and it was a surreal opportunity, but I was double dating with my mother.
Well, that's awesome.
Fun.
Yeah. Let's see, take that. No, it was weird, and it was kind of cool. She had started dating the man who became my designer dad, and I'll talk about him maybe in our Father's Day show. But you know, I had just met Joe, and she and Papa were getting along, and the four of us would go to plays. Both Mom and I enjoy theater, and we went to a few shows together and did some things like that. And it was kind of weird to double date with your mom. But
I can imagine.
Cool too.
Good story, though.
Right. Yeah, I know Kristen did do that because she was only like 13 or 12.
And it'll always give you that one up on your sister.
Yeah, and she says, "I got you," or she got me there. So, yeah, it was fun. And it's a different side you don't get to see with your mom because she was getting to know this man who became her husband later on. And actually, Mom and I, the year she was getting married, the year I was preparing to graduate, and we shopped for my prom dress / her wedding dress because we wore the same size.
That's cool. That's
so we chose a dress that would satisfy both of us. And she got married a few days before my prom, so she got to wear it first. But it wasn't like your big wedding dress thing. It was just a formal dress. But
so you wore your mom's wedding dress to prom?
Yeah.
That's awesome. That's so cool.
Yeah.
Kelly,
it was really pretty. And I probably got a nicer dress than most girls would because it was my mom's
right
dress.
Right. That's like that dynamic is just, I can't imagine graduating high school, right? And then if I remember correctly, she was graduating with her PhD at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
And then going to prom, getting married, like all of that happening within the same probably 2 or 3 month time frame.
Very short time. Yeah,
that's a lot of like uphill on the roller coaster ride type of
that's a unique situation.
That's it had to be a very cool period of time in your life.
Yeah, and she let me let me sing at her wedding. At the time, I fancied myself a singer, and I was playing guitar, and I looked up at my mom, and she looked so happy and so beautiful. I started crying in the middle of my solo.
Oh.
And there's my mom. She, kind of threw her flowers aside, and she's down on her knee, consoling me. And I'm like, "Oh, I'm sorry, Mommy. I wrecked your wedding." I found out later that my other my sister who's on here and my other sister had a 25-year plus running joke of me singing that was reenacted every single year ever since.
Oh my God.
Because my mom moved away after that wedding, and I started my life as an adult, and my sisters, of course, are still with her, and so I miss the reenactment.
Oh, that's funny.
And yeah, and now we're talking about this. Chris is calling me after this. I just know this.
Yeah, that's going to be an interesting conversation after all of this. I'd like to say hi to Tina Kogan and Lauren Faluco. Tina is actually, she's going to come up this Thursday when I have a conversation with my aunt about some of the deeper shenanigans that I've been through.
I want to.
Looking forward to that.
And then Kelly Piero, aka Kim Possible, she says, I admire my mom's sense of humor. And she always is going to remember the dates that her mom took her on when she was a little girl, especially to an Asian restaurant in Euclid.
She wow.
They always used to get a little pot of tea. Such a random memory, but a very sweet one that she holds dear. That's awesome, KP.
It is.
It's always like little stuff like that sticks, though. Mm-hmm. Like I remember calling my grandpa Dorothy as a child because that was my aunt's name, and I knew that it would piss him off when I was like 5. And so he would like tickle me, and there's video evidence of this. He would tickle me and add like, "What is my name?" He would just ask me, and I just look at him and go, "Dorothy," and then try to run away, and he'd end up chasing me around the living room. That's one of the first memories I have of him, and I was like 5 or 6 years old. So it is like those random little things that stick.
Yeah.
But sometimes they end up meaning the most.
Yes.
Good. I like this one. Not that I don't like any of the other ones, but this is like a warm and fuzzy. Let's talk about something else. This one, I like this one.
Talk about moms.
Yeah, moms are fun. Being a mom is a lot of fun. You really do have to have a sense of humor to be a mom.
I was going to say, okay, so we don't have a bonus question, but before I announce the winners of this, like my bonus question to you guys is like, you already kind of alluded to the whole, like, didn't know whether to laugh or cry or, what type of stuff. But if we have any moms listening, which Casey Wright, I know that you're a new mom. So what's up? How's it going? Megan, if you're still on here, you can chime in on this too. KP, you can chime in. Like not first time, but like one time that you can point out where you're like looking at your child and you're like, what the hell? Like,
I got this one.
Me too.
I'm so curious because I know that, like, I know personally, like, things that I've done that my mom had to have definitely been like, I can't believe that this, like, is my child, right? But
I got this one. Jackie. And I know she's not listening, so I can tell the story. She was probably 3.5. We were living in Indiana. We were at the Myers store. And I'm going to tell you now, who's at fault in this whole situation was me. I had her in the store way too long, past her nap. She was over hungry. I usually got her French fries when we walked in. This kid is so good. I mean, she's so easygoing. And that's when you think you're the best parent in the world because your kid's so easygoing.
False sense of security.
She went into a meltdown, which I had never experienced with her in a store. Inconsolable. And I was embarrassed and I was upset. And this is how long I'd been in the store. I had nothing perishable because it was Myers. So I hadn't even hit the grocery section yet. Mm-hmm. So I don't believe in letting a kid irritate everybody else. So I took my screaming kid, went up to the front of the store, left the cart, picked her up. And as I'm carrying her out, I swear to you, she reaches out her arms and goes, help me, somebody, please help me. And I was so mad. If somebody would have walked up to me, you guys, I'm telling you, and challenged me on it, I would have put that child in their arms and I would have continued walking out, at least until I got my car came to my senses. Honestly,
oh my God.
I've done that. The only person at fault was me.
Yeah.
Hungry, past her bedtime, past her nap time, been in there for hours while I was gazing. But oh my gosh. She never melted down on me like that before, ever, in all of those years.
Well, Jay had famous tantrums, my older son.
Uh-huh.
And he used to throw himself down, classic screaming, yelling, and embarrassing his mom at every opportunity, in stores, in public, in church, you name it, until he did it on my mom's stone foyer. And there was the head hitting the melon, the melon hitting the floor sound, and he really knocked himself good.
Oh.
After that, now he was probably about 3 when he did this, and I'm telling you, these are world famous, world class tantrums that he used to have. After that, he would very carefully place himself on the floor, slowly, and it's almost like, wait for it. I'm going to throw a fit. Wait for it. Wait for it. And it was so hard not to laugh because it was such a slow-mo lay down. I mean, he would lay down on the floor, stretch himself out, then pitch his fit. So it was hilarious. But having said that, I would like to leave on the note, my most memorable mom moment was the moment they put Jay in my arms, my firstborn. I have never felt such a wave of complete and total love in my entire life. I do love my husband, and I can remember our wedding day and all those things, but when they placed that baby in my hands, I just knew I would die for that child, and it's not changed in spite of all the fun stuff. So.
It's the greatest. Raising children, it really is the greatest joy in the world. It is the hardest. Because you have to recognize they become their own individuals with their own thoughts and their own minds, their own little
real
soul.
fast.
They do. And we as parents try to mold them, and some children aren't very moldable.
No. God makes them cute so we don't kill them.
Yeah.
I said God makes them so cute so we don't kill them. They're too cute to die.
Oh my God.
I wouldn't trade mine for the world. I think she's just absolutely fabulous.
Oh man. All right. I'm just gonna finish inputting some of these.
Yes, let's find out who our winning nurse is. Did you connect with Joe Albert, Jan?
Oh, everybody loves Joe. Everybody knows Joe. Everybody.
Wait, is that the Canton one?
Yeah.
He's
yeah, I shot him a message.
Down the street, everybody knows Joe.
I shot him a message. I don't think that he responded. I'll have to shoot him another message and see.
Yeah.
Megan
definitely are a character of Canton, and he's doing nurses of Canton, but you're a character too. So
everybody knows Joe and Mike. Everybody.
Yeah, I'll have to reach out to them again because I consider myself a little bit of a character. I have my tendencies. Yeah. Megan says, absolutely, the day of your child's birth is the most emotional day of your life.
Oh my God.
Yep. Sorry, Jason, but you just took second place.
Yeah, and they stay in second place for a really long time.
Like forever.
No, not always.
Not always?
Yeah.
All right, Sarah Vickery. All right, so this is the last call, everybody. If you're listening to this and you are a nurse and you want to shout somebody else out, you can either do it in the comments or shoot me a DM. I'm going to make the announcement at 8:10. So you've got 8 minutes to get in touch with me, and then we'll be good to go. Let's see here. Kelly Piero just sent me her family members' names. Sister is a nurse in Minnesota and currently has a 2.5-year-old daughter. Wow.
The interview with your friend the other day, and I don't remember her name, was really touching. The one who was in New York.
Emma Ongari.
Oh, yeah.
That was just a beautiful story. Very inspiring. I mean, I totally got everywhere she was coming from.
She's a beast. She's awesome. She's
awesome.
Probably, one of the most kind-hearted people I've ever met in my life.
Yeah.
She's quiet, but like when she says something, it means a lot. And she always thinks about those kinds of things. And like when she explained that like physical illness, like deciding not to go to New York and then within 24 hours saying, no, screw that, I'm getting on a plane. Like there was no doubt in my mind that that's exactly how it played out. because
Well-
I remember having conversations with her in nursing school about patients and stuff like that. And she is like the embodiment of what it means to be a nurse out of a passion for helping people and for like no other reason. I mean, she's
let me tell you from the mom's point of view, what really connected with me. I understood because she is a 10-month-old, and I understood her guilt at leaving her little boy. And the little boy is loved. He's with his father. He's in great hands. And I got to tell you, we as mothers, we feel guilt over just about everything. And it's something that I think as we progress in this day and age, we are learning that you have to take care of yourself and you have to follow your things. He's going to be just fine. He's loved. She talked to him every night. He's, it was a great story. And I'm glad she followed her heart with the love that she had for him. That's what really touched me about that story. And he is just fine and beautiful, and she's back at home.
That was a great story.
Back at home.
Well, I'd like to shout out Connie again. I know I mentioned her. She's the head of the NICU up at Children's, and I've known Connie for a very long time. And her daughter just became a nurse as well about 2 years ago. So she's not only an incredible nurse who's gone through more than I can even share in this venue, but she raised an incredible nurse as well, Chelsea Neer.
Is that Connie Teal?
Yes, Connie Teal.
Making sure her name's on the list.
She's I've known Connie as a friend, not as a nurse as much, but if she shows her very fragile babies in her unit a quarter of the love that she shows everyone else outside of her unit, those babies are in the best of care. She's calm, she's faithful, she's everything you'd want, taking care of your brand new, very fragile baby. So just a super shout out, and knowing her backstory just makes it all the sweeter. So
I have no idea how NICU nurses do what they do. There's no way I could ever do that. Like, and not because a lot of people think that this is what male nurses will tell people, is that we don't want to do it because it's not intense enough, right? Or it's not an adrenaline rush like trauma or ER or whatever. The real secret is that we cannot mentally deal with a small child passing away. Like, that would completely demolish me. I witnessed it on my peds rotation, and I was like, I cannot do this for a living, because I will sit in my truck and bawl my eyes out after every single shift. Now,
sure, she does, though.
Where you rely on your faith.
Yeah. Yep. You have to.
Honestly, you've got to pull from that.
Well, she not only takes care of those little babies, but their moms and their dads and the rest of the family that is just as scared and worried and broken. So really special group of people. And I know a few of the nurses that work with her, and couple of our cab nurses are up there. So
I want to give Kathy a shout out here, because we have Joanna, who is actually works with the can charge, that said that you are now her spirit animal because you were talking about slurping down wine and going on double dates with your mom. And she said, I don't know who this woman is, but she said she is now my role model.
Kathy a call and talk to her. You have to.
Yeah.
I love talking to your spirit animal. I promise you that.
Yeah, 100%. We'll have to advertise a First Friday event when all of that opens back up, and just say, hey guys, here's all of the show segments that you guys remember from the pandemic era. Come and hang out with all of the people that you were watching on the live streams.
Do a live. Let's talk about something else when this all opens up. We'll just bring some chairs down.
That would be fun. That would be awesome.
And talk in person.
Yep, we could get George's to sponsor us with Moscow Mules. We can
Cam Bruin with a little beer, or whatever.
Yeah, that's a really good idea. I'm gonna write that down.
I like that idea.
Where's my?
That's an excellent idea.
I'm gonna have to type it. I'm gonna remind myself. I'm gonna write that down. That's a good idea, Kathy.
That'll be fun. it would be really great to have so many more people talking with us.
Yeah.
It's one thing when they type in their questions, but I would love to talk to so many of the people that are out there.
And at this point, Kelly is texting me. She's like, I'm pretending that these are the comments on Facebook. She said that her sister, that's a nurse now, actually her original degree was in anthropology and women's studies. And then since her mom was an RN their entire lives, she actually ended up inspiring her sister to go back to school. And her sister is a neuro nurse now. So that's awesome. And more inspiration on the mama side. We got 1 minute, guys. So you have 60 seconds to submit the last couple of names. I've been able to add 4 or 5 of them.
Well, I'm going to shout out to Sharon Thurman, who's just the sweetest soul ever. Do you know Sharon? She works at Altman. Yeah,
I do. She was she's one of our SANE nurses, I'm pretty sure, which is like the sexual assault advocacy nurses.
She is just an angel. She really is.
Oh.
Of course, I knew her when she was a bartender before she was a nurse. So back to that spirit animal thing.
I was gonna say, yeah, that's a good skill to have. Cross-trained as a nurse. We don't drink ever. That's not
in my younger years.
Medical community.
Out of high school, I wanted to go to St. Jude's and be a nurse there because I've always been a St. Jude's contributor since I've been 18 because their stories always touched me. But I can't handle fostering a cat. I just don't think I could do it. I don't think I can do it. I'm good at pumping the nurses up though if I'm a patient. But other than that.
Well, that's good. We like those kind of patients because most of the time it's not the case.
Oh, they all love me, especially if they're in training because I'm a great person to train on.
Well, that's good because that's super important too. Is people being willing to be open to that? Okay.
I got stories there.
I got a couple of more last minute submissions here.
My nurses, when I had my kids, yeah, they will still be talking about some of that.
When I had my ileostomy takedown, and anytime I've been in, it's just, and I'll tell you what, there is one radiologist that is just drop dead gorgeous at Mercy. It's either at Mercy or Indiana. I can't remember which place he was at, but oh my gosh. Yeah, I know my medical professionals and I know who to ask for.
All right, here we go, guys. So I just finished inputting the last couple of last minute submissions. So our winners, and also if you're listening to this and your name does get called, all I need for you to do is shoot me a message with your email. We will be emailing you these gift certificates, just so that we're staying, true to the whole pandemic protocol thing, but then also for ease of use, you'll just get a code in your email inbox. So first name on the list, we'll see here. Where's the button? There's the button. First name is Kat Rodriguez. She is a awesome medical intensive care nurse at Altman and is actually getting really close to having her daughter.
Oh, wow. Congratulations and happy early Mother's Day for next year.
We'll go ahead and type that in so I remember. So I need to get in contact with Kat.
I
always wanted my name to be Kat because I'm a cat lover.
Mine was once in a while. People have called me that over life.
No kidding.
And then winner number 2 is Katie Atkins.
Yay, Katie.
So Katie, if you're listening or anybody that knows Katie is listening, please reach out to Katie and let her know that she won a $10 gift card.
Nice.
To shoot me her email. Atkins. Here we go. And number 3 is Emily Simmons from Cardiovascular Intensive Care.
Awesome.
She is a baller. So Emily, I always say, and she's going to chuckle when she hears this, if she listens to this, but I say that she transformed me from construction worker to nurse because I graduated nursing school, right? Took the NCLEX and everything else like that. But I was making so much money that summer working construction that I was like, I won't start working at the hospital till like July or August. We'll just do this for a little while. And then I came in and realized that I had forgotten like 90% of nursing school. Yeah, like all the way down to like, here's how you spike an IV bag. Like, here's how we do this. She like had to hold my hand through everything starting off. And now like I come to the unit and I'm, doing my thing. And she's like, it's so nice not to see you as a baby nurse anymore. Like, it's also weird because now you're training other people. And I remember how like sketchy you were when you first started at the hospital.
Where for nursing school?
Do what now?
He went where for nursing school?
Yeah, exactly. And number 4 is Megan Storch. Cool.
Right, Megan.
Megan, I know that you're listening. That's for sure.
Awesome.
So probably don't even have to reach out. I'm actually pretty sure that I have Megan's email, so that works for me. Cool. So we have Kat Rodriguez, Katie Atkins, Emily Simmons, and Megan Storch. Congratulations on winning.
Congratulations,
all the nurses out there for the work you do during this and every day. You too, Jan.
Thank you.
First time I heard about you, I heard about what an incredible nurse you were to our mutual friend's mother when she was in the hospital. So.
Shit, that's right. I forgot about that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because I didn't realize that until we were we were recording an episode together, and it all like came flooding back all at once.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
She remembers your compassion. So.
Well, that's good.
Yeah.
That's always nice to hear. I love.
That's important when people are sick and hurting.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a completely different level of like that balance that you talked about, listening to the voice and the voice telling you whether or not to say it or not say it type of thing. There are so many times as a nurse that voice is like overpowering, and it's like, okay, well, this is what I was taught was therapeutic language and things that I should or shouldn't do, but this is what my gut is telling me this patient needs. And that's or the family. Yeah. And that's the biggest difference between like a new grad nurse and more of a seasoned one, I think, is that ability to walk that fine line. Because our mutual friend will probably remember that I was a little bit more lighthearted and a little bit more of like, I was compassionate and caring, but I was willing to engage and joke around a little bit, which throws some nurses off. Because they're like, okay, this is a job. You kind of you have your task list. You got to move down the line. But I'm like, people are people. Right. If I make a fart joke because, we're in the hospital, sometimes just making things human makes you feel better. Right.
It's because human moments that mean so much, especially to the family, because they're removed one step from the care, and it's so scary. So thank you.
Yeah.
Seriously, from the bottom of my heart. And, it's nice that you remember who our mutual friend is, since we seem to know the same group of people, Jan.
Yeah. Yeah. Our network is ever growing and ever overlapping. I'm sure
Clark County is a very small town. So
yes, it is. So final thank yous again to our winners, Kat Rodriguez, Katie Atkins, Emily Simmons, and Megan. Megan, if you could reach out to Emily and let her know to get in contact with me, I would appreciate it. And I'll get those out as soon as I can. For you guys, as always, it has been a pleasure.
Always fun.
I love hanging out. I always look forward to my Tuesday nights.
Great fun. Me too.
And this week, guys, for those of you that are listening, we will be going live potentially tomorrow. Tomorrow's a little up in the air at 7 p.m. with John Dietz. John just had shoulder surgery. He's recovering very well. And he's doing fine, but he is taking advantage of the pain medication that they gave him post a complete shoulder reconstruction. So, and I told him that. I was like, because he was being a little bit stubborn. I was like, you need to take your meds, John. There's a reason why they gave them to you.
It could be great entertainment.
Right. So I'm going to kind of gauge tomorrow and see where we're at. And then we'll go from there. But on Thursday, for sure, I'm going to have my Aunt Janet Wilkes. She's going to come on to the show, and we're going to dig into some pretty deep content on that one, and really try to reach out.
Story.
Yeah. And so that one, I'm going to it's going to really be perspective and looking back on the most difficult times in your life and how you can frame them in a way to be empowering rather than detrimental. Right. Because that's something that I struggled with for a very long time. And she is one of the people that really drug me out of that pit. as far as realizing that I had gone through a certain set of things in order to be able to do some of the stuff that I'm doing now.
We're all on a journey, every single one of us.
Yep. Yep. For sure. So that'll be Thursday at 7 p.m. And then, as always, next Tuesday at 7 p.m., you can come hang out right here on another episode of hashtag Let's Talk About Something Else. So until next time, ladies, it has been a pleasure. And for those of you that are listening, make sure you keep chasing that apex.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.